Okay, so now we have got it back set up, and you know it's right because they're not touching. If you're in your correct state, not every single weapon is going to line up like this, but this particular one works pretty well. Now we will go in and set our left hand IK in the correct place where it's supposed to, and pause this. It just saves on memory, so you don't have it playing in the background, potentially cause a crash. You can see our arms are in the wrong spot. We'll fix that. Don't worry about this because this is a different animation for working. See how they're like really far forward and to the right? We'll first fix our IK, and then we will go back in and change. Put this over here like that. Open this up. Get kind of an idea of where we want to set our IK. The hand first needs to go down. It needs to come out. Limit. Eject. Also, my wrist is twisted like heavily. See if we can untwist that. Oh, that's interesting. I might have to we might have to transform this if you have this issue in your, because it should, unless his hand is supposed to be. Matter of fact, let's go back. We can always tell if the hand's in the right spot because this is probably correct. So we'll try to mimic that kind of animation here. Let's see if we can. Yeah, we want less that and more this. That's kind of what they're going for. So if you have an animation that's a little wacky, like bendy, sometimes it's not fixable. But in this case, it's because the animation is not going in the right place for the IK. We'll move our hand backwards a little bit, kind of get it in line with the rest of the weapon here. And this actually kind of looks good. We probably need to come up a little bit, out a little bit, like that. It's not terrible. You never really have to worry about fingers on this side on the first person because third person can't see that and neither can you. So I would worry more about getting the palm here to kind of line up how you want it to, and less about where the fingers actually are. If you want to, I'm kind of afraid to rotate this and mess it up because it looks so good. Get it as close as possible. We'll hop back in and see how this looks. That looks okay. We'll see how that looks in full. Yeah, it's not bad. I'll probably do some modifications to it later, but you get the idea. Now, the next thing is you can see we have clipping on the bottom left with the shoulders here, and it's really far forward and to the right. That's because this developer used a different base area for his animations, and we're using a 110 field of view on this. So if you want to fix this, then the easiest way to do that is go to animation blueprint again. Right here to this cache pose. We'll drag this down a little bit and we'll do the exact same thing we did to this. So this is not going to count for your reload. It's only going to be the stuff that's inside the animation blueprint. So for your reload stuff, I'll tell you how to fix that because it's going to mimic the exact location that it is currently in when it plays reload, inspections, rechambers, whatever the case may be. So for now, what we'll do is we'll do a transform, modify, bone, grab this, and we will come off of our state machine here. And we'll go through all the animations step by step just doing this how I do it one step at a time to make sure everything's right. We'll make this a rotation ignore, scale ignore translation, add to existing. We'll select our IK handgun. And we will select, actually we could probably do root. I might try root. We'll actually just copy this, Control C, Control V. Copy that there, bring this, it'll automatically create this for you, so you don't have to worry about that. To the arrow 05 pose, put it in line, pop it in there, like that. And then we'll do this, we'll match the same translation, because this translation, this is a number that I just came up with arbitrarily. I just created it with trial and error. But this is the same kit, so we'll probably match the same here. We'll try 9 and 15 on IK handgun. Or I'm sorry, negative 15. And 9 and negative 15 here on the pelvis. Same thing. Select your pelvis. You can probably actually skip this and try root if you want. Root will probably actually work too, because that's how we do it with the reloads and stuff, but we just don't do it inside of the animation blueprint. So now when you compile and save this, save. See how his arms came back already in the what's it called? Oh, actually, I don't even have to do the IK handgun on this because I'm not using it. So this is useless. We're not using that anyway. So now you see the weapon will move. The only the thing with the IK handgun here, like I said, just use root. If you have an issue using root, like the IK handgun doesn't line up, and you're using this, then use IK handgun. But for the most part, just move the whole root or the pelvis, either one. So now we're 9 and negative 15. So we'll go back in. Okay, let's stop and play again just to make sure. So see now. Now it's in a better spot, but it's a little bit too much. So we came back 15. We'll try and do like a 5 left, and try that before we start going forward again. Let's see what a 5 looks like. That looks much better. It's further to the right. We're going to have to change the angle of the weapon. We don't even have sway set up on this yet either. Yeah, so we'll have to change the angle a touch to kind of across. We'll do negative 12. Let's see this. Let's see if that makes it a little bit more full weapon visible. A little bit more forward. Yeah, I can see the trigger finger now. Now what we'll do is, since we've got our IK handgun set up here, it's going to move with the weapon. So we don't really have to worry too much about, you know, repositioning the left hand. So we'll come... Actually, we'll play. We'll play to do this, just so you can see what I'm talking about. We're going to fix this... we're going to fix these running animations and walking animations and stuff in a second. Alright. So we'll fix the crosshair issue. Come back into our skeleton. Pop this bad boy out. Bring it over. Maybe we'll kind of adjust this. Be a little bit more in line with our crosshair, because it's more lining up the barrel than anything else. Making sure you've got the right idea. That way, if players are playing without a crosshair, they can still kind of hip fire and see where the bullets are going to naturally go. Now, I moved it a lot, so we're going to come back to... I'll probably spend a lot of time tapering this individual rifle to make it exactly how I want it. So right now, that's looking pretty good. So our procedural reflow is working, and it's playing a standard animation from another kit. So we'll go ahead and save this, The reason our weapon sway, if you do have weapon sway, is not working, is, because in our LPSP arms here, in our state machine, we are transforming the IK handgun and not the IK hand right. So we will go to IK hand right, change this hand right, compile, and save that. And this is if you already have it right here. I'm not getting into how to create this, but if you have one and you want to see your weapon sway work, make sure when you swap over state machines, now we have proper weapon sway for the rifle. Now, like I said, I'm going to fix this hand. You can spend as much time on this as you want. Alright, so now let's get into the walking animations. So next thing is going to be our walk. So you'll come here and you'll select your animation that you've created for walking from your IK retarget. Rifle 3 arms walk. Boom. Compile. Save all. You never know when it's going to happen. Because if it does, and you've done a lot of work, you'll be big mad. And walk forward. Swap this sequence out. Ooh. So, fun fact, we did not retarget that. So, we'll retarget that really quick. You go back to your IK rig if you missed one. And you can do 3 ADS. And you should see a walk ADS if you got some good animations. Export that to the same place we exported all the other ones, just under your first person. I suggest creating a folder, unlike me. I'm going to save and close this now. Now that it's exported, you can come back here. Rifle 3 ADS. So, now, another thing I want to note that's pretty important when you're dealing with these particular animations don't have one set, but if you're dealing with like LPAMG or LPSP animations and some other animations, open up, you can double click your animation here and make sure that there is no additive set for the animation type. So this is basically like, you'll probably see this more on reloads and stuff. There'll be an additive animation for when you're reloading. It is basing that animation off of like an idle animation. Don't. In some case, like I've never used this properly, so it's probably my fault, but I don't use additive anim types. I do that stuff in the blueprint, and where I do that is how the stock ZST comes is like this, without the modify bone here, and reloading will be right here. I don't want to, while reloading, do the same animation as aiming. I want to, while reloading, use the walk animation or idle animation while reloading, because when you play the animation, it is going to swap to, so if I do like is moving, right, and we are on the correct, make sure we're on the right thing here. Yeah, we're on Air 05. And we're paused, that's why. So, this is the walk animation for this particular rifle, right? If I go to aiming, I aim. That's a hell of a blend out. I'll have to do some... Wow, that's a crazy blend. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So is aiming, yeah, well, a little smoother. And sometimes this can change depending on Am I live right now? Okay. It's weird that the IK... No, it's very lined up. Oh, that's because I moved the rifle. Okay, anyway, doesn't matter. It looks good now. Yeah, you can kind of see how jerky it's going to be when you play the animations, but the ADS speed is going to be set in your weapon info table here, so it might negate this blend space that you've done in your right here. So when you're reloading, though, if you were like to go to reloading, it would play that ADS while you're reloading. And I had issues with blending my reloads because it would start to play this. And yeah, no, I want it to be this. So I'll Control C, Control V here. And we'll get rid of this walk on my other rifle here. We'll plug that back in. So now, when I'm reloading, it's going to reference what I'm already actively doing, which is walking. Obviously, it's going to play a reload animation, but it won't change the position of the arms to be in an arbitrary place. You're going to have the arms in the correct place. It's going to reference it based on what you're doing here in the animation blueprint. So now we've pretty much got, and I'll do the same thing here. So if I go back to is moving, not, if I were to do a reload, my arms would do some wacky stuff and then like they'd be in the wrong place. So we're just going to reference our arms idle and do a blend pose by bull, delete this, and set that there. So it should match my idle when reloading. And that's where we're setting our reference pose. I think that's how it works. I could be wrong, but hey, if it works and it ain't broken, don't fix it. So that's how I do it anyway. So we've got that set. Now we can go to our way too far. Go back into our state machine. Go to our sprint. Sprint's easy. I think on this one it's just run. 005. Yeah, we'll just change this animation sequence to. I don't think these have a sprint. Rifle 3 arms. Run. So you can test to make sure that this works. So is moving, you'll play his movement animation, and then is sprinting, and he'll move into his sprinting animation. And because, don't worry about this, you're not going to see it, because we've set our, see how when he's reloading, it doesn't change. That's what you want. You want the animations to not change. You'll see that little skip, but you won't see it in game. But you don't want his arms to move positions when you're reloading. When you're aiming, matter of fact, I don't think you, yeah, well, you can't aim while sprinting, so that's why. But everything looks good here. Alright, so we'll skip the jumping for now. It's the exact same. I won't do this. It's just going to take too much time and the video is already running along. No, you know what? I have to talk about it. I have to. Set your animations here that you want. I aim while I make it to where you can reload and aim while jumping. So if you jump and you aim, it's going to play the aim, and this is going to be the same for every single one. So whatever your aim is, make that your animation for each one. So no matter what he's doing, if you're in air, landing, or starting to jump, you can still aim. I like it that way. Not everybody does, but I want to be able to aim while in the air. And it's more seamless if you just make every single pose here, here, here. Aiming is true or reloading, go to the aim pose. The thing I do have to mention though is when you set these up, you have to change these to whatever the asset is prior to that. So for instance, if this is jump loop, right, then when you transition into jump loop, make sure that this has time remaining. So the way you get this is you'll do whatever your animation is called. So LPSP jump loop A time remaining. Grab that. Oh, actually, no, you don't have to do that. This is just a straight up asset. So LBSB current time. Oh, no. I'm wrong. It is time remaining. I don't know why this one doesn't say time remaining. Yeah, so. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, just do time remaining, 0.1 or 0.2 for a blend out to go into jump loop. Then you can do your jump looping animation here. And then here, you want to do is not an air on this transition, which will already be set up. It should always say this if you've copied a state machine. Here, your jump end animation. And then here, time remaining on your jump end animation. So jump end. So time remaining jump end. Grab that and then just do like a 0.1 or a 0.2 here. And then your jumping will be set. And that covers pretty much the entire state machine. The state machine is super simple. I'll deal with these later, but that's how you do that. So we'll go ahead and we'll test and see if I missed anything with running and stuff. I'll have to fix my left hand IK, but now we have, I think this animation is too slow, but now we have a good running animation that plays and it's in the right spot because we've transformed those bones. Alright, so next let's do a what's it gonna do here? Oh, what did I forget? It was something important too. I literally just thought of it when I loaded in. Oh, we're gonna fix this walking animation. It's too slow. So if you want to speed it up, if you have some like too slow animation or whatever, go back to your state machine, go back into your FPP walk. If you want to make this, do a we'll do like a play rate of like 1.3. We'll compile. I'm gonna do like 1.45. We'll see how that looks. That's much better. See how he doesn't have a sway here? But he does here. That's because in our walk, we still have the IK handgun. So we gotta change this to, you have to do every single thing for every single state. Otherwise it will not work. Just remember that when you're doing these animations and stuff. And I'm blind because I can't find hand right. So now we'll know that that walk has a sway to it. You could do a sway here, but I don't. So now I think the only thing left, for me anyways, fix that left hand IK and make sure that this looks good in your third person character. So you can save everything here, save everything here. I'm done with this for now, so I'm going to close that. I'm going to close this. Oh, we'll do reloads. When you get your reload animation, the way you fix that is because we've changed the route. If you want to change the route, like I did with the modified bone, let me open up my rig here again. Ultimate FPS. I'll do rifle 3 reload arms. We'll just go ahead and export just the raw animation. Just here. Alright, we've got our reload animation. And where LPSP uses animation blueprints, all you'd have to do is in your weapon blueprint, in order to set this, you'd go to your weapons, and a lot of other people use weapon blueprints, but Ultimate FPS Kit does not. Go to your blueprint here, open up your new rifle, and you would come to your first person mesh, and you would select the animation blueprint from the list here, whatever the name is. You can see all the LPSP stuff. They use animation blueprints. This kit doesn't. I'll probably figure out how to make this kit use animation blueprints later, but for right now, we're just going to do it the way that it is. You can go to your, let me see here, third person character. So go to your characters, base character, third person character. And if you don't use animation blueprints, you'll have to go down to your reload. I'm going to do this really quick. So here, you're playing the montage for the arms, okay? And you're playing the current weapon montage. FP weapon mesh montage. Alright, so might as well try it first, see what happens. So come to your FP I'm blind, don't worry. FP reload montage and do your new Rifle 3 arms. Oh, well, that's because, and it shouldn't be saved. It's this one right here. Rifle 3 arms reload. Create anim montage. It'll make the same thing just with the montage behind it. Control save that. Control save this. We'll do the Rifle 3 reload arms montage. So that's our arms montage, and we can double check that this Rifle 3 arms montage works. It's not going to move the magazine because we haven't told it to yet. So now, if you'll notice, this is what I was talking about earlier. When I shoot, if I reload, it's because I selected the wrong rifle reload montage. And it will not play if it is the incorrect skeleton. So it's this one, because you can see it put our LPSP character on it. So I would name it accordingly, because this is going to ask for any montage. Yeah, it doesn't care. It's not linked to a skeleton here, like when you do it in a animation blueprint. It'll let you pick whatever you want. So now it should play our arms. And see how it goes forward and right? It's because the root is still messed up where we changed it in the animation blueprint. So now we can go back into our FP empty, or not empty reload, our FP reload montage. We'll open this up. You can right click, open this asset. Make sure it's paused. Go to your root here. You can close that for now. Go back in your animation blueprint. Double check what information you've got for your anim graph. 5 and 12. So you can go to your reload. Again, make sure this is pausing on frame 1. You're on root. Do 5, -12. It'll move the arms into the correct position that you've set before. key this. Now that animation will always play in that position. So we'll save this, close it. Let's save our third person character, minimize it. You go back in. Now when I shoot, his arms don't move. But see that little twist there? That's because the animation is slightly different here than your left hand IK. So you can go, okay, there's a little twist. So we're off twisted on our left hand IK, right? And it wants to twist back. We can fix that on the left hand IK, but it's pretty trivial. So what I usually do is I'll come back to our, to get our blend outs right. You can go back to your info table, open up that arms reload, and we will do, we've already got a pretty heavy blend out here. So you can, when he gets to here and he gets right there, you can end this, do end time. This is a 2.19, so we'll try like a 2.2 on the end time. So now it's going to end quicker. Like as soon as he gets here, it's going to be already over. So the blend out, with it being at 0.25, should make this a little bit cleaner. So now we'll go back into a lot cleaner. It's a little bit snappier at the end, but you don't have that wrist movement. He just kind of puts it back in his shoulder and forgets about the rest. You could probably taper that, make it a little bit longer, but the longer you make it, the more you're going to notice that wrist movement, because that wrist movement's actually happening over here, and it does make the reload a little bit quicker, so it makes it a little bit, but I think that looks pretty clean for me. I just go back through and fix my left hand. And this weapon is almost done. The only other thing is, like, for instance, I have a, I'll have to do, well, you know what, we'll try something real quick. We'll do a, no. I'll do one more thing real quick before I end it, because I am getting real long. We're at an hour. We'll go back here, and we'll mimic what we did on my rechamber. So right here, this is for the Ultimate FPS kit. So we'll just go ahead and we'll copy this. And this is for, I believe, the arms. Matter of fact, we can tell. This is an animation sequence. Ultimate rechamber. I'm going to go ahead and inspect this really quick. Ultimate rechamber. That's a weapon animation. It's not an arms animation. It's a weapon animation. Because the arms you don't have to worry about with the Ultimate FPS kit. It's the weapon animations because they don't use a blueprint. Okay. So we'll go ahead and copy that. If this is something, oops, we're way past it. We'll come down to, like right here, just as a trial. We'll make this is AR05, right? And we will, that way we can add other weapons to this later. We can go is AR05 or this weapon or this weapon or this weapon. And then we're gonna play not this animation, but we'll create a new new variable here. We'll call this ultimate weapon reload. So it won't be arms, it'll just be ultimate weapon. Actually, we'll make this C. We'll make the CW just to absolutely know it says ultimate current weapon reload. And then we'll make this a animation sequence, not a montage. And getting animation sequences, you have to type in anim and then SEQ. If you do animation, it won't pop up. Do this as an object reference. Now we have this. We can get ultimate weapon CW reload, compile and save everything, because we might run into a crash. I'm good on that. Close that. We'll save the character, and we'll save this reload because I think I got it pretty good. Go to your, if you're creating a new variable that it utilizes animations, you have to go to your weapons and weapon info struct. Go to the bottom here, add a variable, name it the exact same thing. CW again, if you're using animation blueprints for your weapons, you can skip this. If you're using hard sequences that need to be played, you might have to do that. I don't know why I have to do this with ultimate weapons, but I do. So anyway, anim sequence object reference. Save this. Close it. Go back to your third person character. Under set active, grab your ultimate CW reload, set under your active here. Easiest way to do this is shift click. It'll highlight that. When you come up here, you can just click. Okay. Oh, shift click and it'll connect that ultimate CW reload all the way down here, and then you can connect it up. Save. Now you're setting the CW reload from the info data table that you have here. This is weapon, so we'll do our we want our weapon animation to play. Not here though. And we'll have to find our rifle 3 reload. And this is going to be, of course, every single animation. So we'll hit that one first. Go back into our third person character. Go back into our event graph. Find your weapon reloading again. And we will play our ultimate CW reload. And the target, I don't think we have to have the target if I'm not mistaken. Target is the FP weapon mesh. So you do have to have a target, I'm sorry. Yeah, because it has to know what mesh. So, since we're going to be doing it up here with this montage in place of, we can actually, we'll make this a little bit tighter. You can probably make this a function even, which I will probably make it a function later. But for testing sake, we'll just pop this bad boy right here. And we will grab our FP weapon mesh as the target. In between this montage, we'll come here, and is true, it's going to play this animation. Is false, it's going to completely skip this. So if it's not the AR05 anim, it's going to completely skip playing this animation, so we don't have to do an is valid. We're doing an is valid with a branch. Alright, so now, when we replay this, when I shoot, the magazine comes out and the magazine goes in. And it works seamless. I'll probably taper that because it's a little harsh on that exit there. I can actually, it's actually a lot harsh. So I'll probably, oh yeah, wow, it's a crazy amount of snap. So you, again, taper it. You can kind of make it look how you want to get rid of that twist. I'll could probably do like a, if you really want to do this, you can probably collapse these. Now you can do like ultimate CW. And again, later, I'll probably make this a function. But now, you can just open this up. And now you have a self-created inputs and stuff here. So it's just going to grab everything. Again, it's going to do the same thing if you did like create function. And then you could just put function in place. And yeah, you can skip the output. Because the output doesn't, you're not going to do an output here to here, because it would automatically play an animation that doesn't exist or need to exist. But just to save some room for now, anything you need to play here with weapon wise for whatever you want, you could just do that in place of. I've tried to do it with this, but it doesn't work. Again, I'll look into that later, but for now, that's how you can get around doing that. And I think the last little thing we have to do is we have to go to our weapon blueprint, or our third-person animation blueprint, which you can find under HGT and animation blueprint. I have a separate one that I'm using because I have some blend spaces. So now we're setting here, make sure you're setting the equipped weapon to AR-05. And he's going to play this rifle IK, right? You need to go to your third person character. Sorry. You need to open up your skeleton here, and you need to find the socket that is in your info table to line it up with your hands. So again, you got to go through all of these animations. I'm just giving you the bulk, but like TP reload, empty, arm shoot montage, you'll have to go through and do everything that we've already done. This is basically just a super long rundown. Go to your socket. TP weapon socket right. I will create a separate one for our gun here. First we'll remove all attached assets. Right hand, we will do TP socket right, we'll duplicate it, copy, and paste sockets. It's going to be TP socket right 0. Name it TP so you don't get confused. .05. Control C once you've got it selected. Go back into here. Paste it. It'll be exactly where you just set it. I'm going to save and close this for now. Close this. Go back to your here before you reopen it and do rifle 3. So now we can go back to our animation blueprint. Make sure you're on your correct weapon. So you can see that's what it's going to look like to all our third person players. Not good. Third person doesn't really, I don't use third person. This is a whole nother ball game. You just want it to look good for other players. I don't play in third person. If you want to play in third person, you can spend a ton of time doing this. You're just going to go back to your socket here. Drag this out. Of course I can't move this. I did not want the content browser. I want that there. I want this here. Okay. now we can move our socket independently from all of our other weapons and make it look right. So get it like generally in the right place for everybody to be happy when they're looking at you shooting zombies. We'll go up just a smidge. And that looks good enough for me, for a third person. Now you're like, oh shit, your hand's messed up. Yeah, you're right, because we're using a completely different set of animations for this that we don't have third-person animations for. Well, okay, how do we correct that? Easy peasy. It's going to get crazy if you have a ton of guns to do like I do, so I'm probably going to end up collapsing nodes within inside of my animation blueprint. We'll go and reopen this right here, and you can see kind of where I'm going with this. If you've got the left hand IK, I'm using a rifle IK to set the 2-bone IK here, but we don't want to set the 2-bone IK for every single rifle. We want to set it just for this one. So we'll go ahead, we'll copy this 2-bone IK, come down here, and I copied nothing. Control C. Oh, I did. Oh, okay, I did paste it. I'm just dumb. We will go to our event graph. I'm sorry, set pawn info. Copy this. Paste it. Set this to your AR05, your new class. Create a new variable with inside of your third person character blueprint. Name it the same for simplicity's sake. Grab this now, set it. So if you're using AR05, it's going to set this to is true. So if that's true, what do? We're going to go back to our animation graph, if I can find it. I'm going to go back to our animation graph. And I probably want to ultimately... Oh, I connected this... I don't know. I probably made this yesterday and didn't delete it when I was doing another tutorial. We're going to name this AR_05. Uncaps, of course. We will copy this. We will paste it. And I'm going to actually extend all of this way over here, because I'm going to have to do this a bunch of times. Okay. So now, we don't want to use is that. We want to use is AR05. Is false, continue, is true, use a different hand IK. Because I don't like using, you don't have to do this if you have third person animations. You just set the animations in the rifle state. But I use mostly all of the same rifle state, so I don't want to have to go through and if you don't have third person animations, you're just creating a third person animation here by moving your IK in the third person. So now, if I'm using this AR05, I come down here and I say is using AR05. We are, because we're setting it in two places. Now we have a different hand IK. So now we can move it wherever we want. We could grab this and say, okay, now we want this hand, because we don't have an animation for it. We're going to make one the easy way. First of all, pause this shit. That's crazy. And that's good enough for me, because I don't have a third person, and it's pretty close Yeah, it looks alright for me for third person. I'll call that. So if I'm not using Arrow 05, it will just use whatever I'm using for my other IKs, with my other third person animations. And if I am using Arrow 05, which it'll update all the time, I'll go, okay, we're using this rifle, we're going to put the hand there, and now you've just created your third person animation. So if we go back, I'm going to pause this because it's going to soak my data. I don't even know where I went. Oh, I guess I exited it. So now the third we've missed something here, guys. I would like to eject. So what did we... I know we missed. We're still using a state machine. However, it still should say we're still on Air 05, right? We're still using true. Huh. It must be because we're using a different state machine. So the way you set up a new state machine here is go into this, weapon states, do save all again in case you crash. Air 05. I use my AR cache pose for pretty much everything. Now, see how it's in the right spot. So you just have to create a AR cache, because otherwise it's going to use this and it's going to override. It's just going to put it in a rifle idle. So now it should be correct. So if I go back to here, it's using AR cache, which is my AR upper body, which is just, this is where you would set your idle pose and iron sights and stuff like that if you did have animations, which I do for some rifles and some I don't. I've just been, you know, creating, because I don't have any animations for those, my own hand eye case, and should be good. Air 05 is Air 05. Hopefully I didn't move the wrong rifle IK. No, I did not. Well, if I did, it's easy to fix. Doesn't matter. And now you can see our hand is in the correct place. This is how you retarget animations from the LPSD kit, Ultimate FPS kit, LPAMG kit. Just have fun with it. You can blend animations however you want. I'm still not done with this one, but you know, it's just tapering. And that's pretty much the whole video. I know it was super long, but it's a lot of information, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of time. You can see how the animations are set up there for the jumping and stuff. I have to work on that. It's super easy, but the bulk of your from 80. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope I gave all you guys the information that you needed to get the proper kit set up and everything. And that's going to be it. Have a good one.